We're going to get started here. So my name is Mehdi Slawi Andalusi. I'm part of the PowerCat team, which is the PowerApps and Microsoft Flow and CDS customer advisory team. So what I do on a daily basis is really help customers, partners build apps. A lot of my days are spent in doing architecture reviews, code reviews. Today, I want to kind of simulate what I do when I do a code review, or when there is an optimization, performance optimization required for an app. So I'm not going to have slides. I'm going to have an app that I'm going to take from a certain state, a poorly performing state, into a hopefully what I think will be a performant app. So today is really just no slide, or hopefully no slides. And then we will just go over all of the steps that you might want to take as you're building your app. So with that, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the scenario. So the scenario is a conference app. Let me just get all my stuff together. So it's a okay. So we have a conference app that a customer actually is complaining about. There is a little bit of a lag when you load the app. We're going to see actually how it looks like. I just want to talk a little bit about the functionality real quick. So it's nothing really complex. It's an app which has sessions. It has an activity feed, which basically just kind of buzz and things that are happening within the conference. Let me play this one. This is just a kind of a social aspect to the app. People can actually chat about or post interesting things that they see in the conference. So I have here just a FAQ page, nothing really crazy. Pretty simple app. The object model behind it is a little bit more complex, but I'll go over some of the entities that we have. The app was built in SQL. This could have been CDS, could have been SharePoint. So everything I'm going to talk about today is really equivalent in all of those data sources. So the session is really the core of what we're going to be using today. Conference. There's a conference object here that has a relationship with sessions. So this is so that they can actually reuse the app across multiple conferences. A session has a venue, relationship with a venue entity. A venue really gives you the address, the name. You have the notion of session attendees. You have the notion of speakers. So basically everything you expect in a very simple conference app. So again, simple scenario. I want to show really how the app behaves right now. And I will run against an optimized version, and that's maybe going to be our target goal. So I'm going to refresh this page. And I'm going to refresh the actual optimized version, and we can see here the difference. So this is what we're going to work against, is really how to take an app that behaves this way and go all the way. So we have a bunch of work to do today, so I'll get started. But that's the goal. So, all right. So I'm going to get started here. The first thing I do when I load the app, and this is the unoptimized app that I got from this particular user, the customer. The first thing I do personally is actually check out where they are loading data. So that's my first reaction. So usually it's in the unvisible of a screen. Or, and in this case, it's not the case, or it's in the up start. Sometimes it's also all over the place, and we'll see that that's the case here as well. So this is what I'm looking at right now in my on app start, and we all know that sometimes causes problem. This is probably why we saw a little bit of a delay when we run the app in this particular state, and we want to avoid as much as possible staying in this screen, just so that we give a user we let the user interact with the app right away. So it's very important, crucial that we don't have we minimize the amount of time that the user has to wait before interacting with the app. So that's one of my goals. So the first thing I do usually is take all of this stuff that is really all about, we can clearly see here that they're calling conference users, they're doing venues, speakers as well, session types. So all of these are network calls that could go somewhere else. Personally, I'd like to do it in the unvisible of my home screen. So I'm gonna just bring that stuff here for now. And we'll talk a little bit about some stuff we could do in order to kind of improve a little bit that load time. At the very least, at this point, I don't have to wait for that app start to finish. The app will go straight to the first home screen. And at that point, we need to start looking at what are some optimization techniques we could perform. One thing that I do here that is very crucial on this first screen is, and that's something is really like look at the data that we absolutely need in the first screen. Anything that we don't need to load right away, we should just act on it in a different way. So we don't, in this particular case, I can quickly go to the gallery table. It's pointing to the session table here. I'm going to zoom in here just in case you guys. So I can clearly see that session is used, so I have to keep that in mind. I can see clearly that the venue here is used as well, so I can keep that in mind as well. So those are the two things that I think are going to be used in this whole app, in this whole first screen. So that's when I start questioning why this particular app maker decided to load the conference users, load the venues, while they're, I'm not seeing yet a use for venue collection here. I see that they are trying to set the current user here, so they are looking at finding out whether this user already logged into the app, and if it's not the case, they will create a new user in the table. Probably the user table that we saw just right here. Conference user here, right here. Okay. So going back to my code here, so one of the best practices again is that you need to let the user know that we are loading data. So the first step I'm gonna probably implement here is just the notion of a preloader animation, something that lets user know that we are loading data. Hold on. So that's usually, personally, I do an update context here on a local variable that I call show loader. And this is something that I'm going to use in a minute here to drive the visibility of a preloader component that I'm going to bring into the app. So for now, I'm actually going to wrap the entire call into this update context show loader. And then when I'm done loading everything, and I'm actually setting this show loader to false, and this will have the net effect of hiding that animation. I'm going to import a component here that I've built already. So that's the preloader component. If you need to build one, you can go ahead and build one on the screen. There's a lot of tutorials on how to build preloader, so I'm not going to bother with that right now, but I'm just going to bring in the preloader to the table here. I'm going to put it in the front, give it the front, and then I'm going to hook up one of the properties of this preloader, which is the isLoading property to that variable that I just defined. So again, nothing crazy here. This is just so that when we are about to load the data, we're not waiting for, we are not just magically showing the gallery with data partially loaded. We want to kind of hide everything from the user until we are ready to display. So that's kind of the goal of this loader animation. But as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I'm really interested in only wrapping my loader animation with the absolutely, the absolute calls needed for that first screen. So I know that venues are being used, so I can actually take this out. I'm going to bring that in here. I'm going to take this show loader false here. I believe the session types are used, and I'm gonna confirm that here. So that's the fill property here is actually using session type. So this collection needs to be loaded ideally at load time. So those are the three things. Speakers are actually not used right away. They're going to be used a little bit later on in the detailed view of this app I'm imagining. So I'm going to bring that in here. And at this point, I have two calls that are going to be loaded before actually the UI shows up. I'm actually going to also go back to my gallery and notice that the session here is really tied to a conference ID of one conference. And I know from speaking to the customer that I'm not going to hit some sort of max, or the session really for this conference are not going to go beyond 100 items. So I actually am going to go ahead and clear collect this into a collection, so I have a local cache of my sessions, and that way I don't have to make a network call as I go back and forth to this page. So for that, I'm going to define a new collection called clear. I'm going to call it sessions, and I'm going to go ahead and get that session collection loaded here. So that's it. I think for now, those are really the 3 calls that I see important. We're going to go back and optimize a little bit more and see what's going on here. But I can actually save this. I'm going to actually save it as a different run 1, run 3. And then actually we can actually go ahead and try it as well. Publish 3. And see if it's actually making a difference already. So we can see a loading experience. We see that we didn't wait as much for that initial PowerApps default screen, so it's getting a little bit better. So I'm going to continue a little bit. So here I'm noticing that they are actually loading the conference users. Again, this is a kind of a dangerous situation here. Like, you want to make sure that you don't have 10,000 users, and there is a limit for clear collect to be. It's capped to 2,000 items on any given API call. So by default, in fact, it's set to 500 rows. So if you know your conference will have more than 2,000 items, this is not really something we can cache locally, and we have to think about different situation. For the sake of this presentation, I think we're going to say this particular conference app is for executives. It's going to be probably a few hundred users. So I see that this person actually created a local collection for that, which is great, but then they turned around and they didn't use that particular collection to look up the user. So again, since we just loaded all of the users, we could just go ahead and take that conference user collection and use that for our lookup here. Okay, there is one more thing here that I failed to mention. There is no dependencies between sessions and venues and collections. So there is an opportunity here to kind of fire up all of those calls in parallel. So we do have the concurrent call function that we shipped maybe about a year ago, which allow us to make all of those calls in a parallel way. So it's something that's good to remember. So if you know that your tables that you're loading locally are actually not going to be they are not going to be used. They don't have dependencies, meaning that you don't need to load for the first app, the first table, and get some data from it to use in the next query. You can go ahead and wrap the entire thing in a parallel in the concurrent call, which will allow you to fire up all of those calls in parallel. So that's another optimization to keep in mind. Going back to our situation here, we did fix up the reference here. There is no reason to do a lookup to the DBO, to the data source directly. We're using a local collection that we know has all of the content. So that's one less network call. Then we're looking at this patch here, which is really the way they add a user to this conference if they detect that they haven't seen that user before. Again, they are patching, but they are making an API call to Office 365, and they're doing it a few times in order to fetch the given name, the last name, the job title. Here, again, is an opportunity to kind of refactor this, and we can set a profile user here, and then let's call it user profile. And we can actually grab the actual call to the Office 365 and put it in our local variable here. And we use that in all of the references that were used to bring in those properties. Again, it's a small detail, but again, it avoids actually having that call within a formula again that might actually not be as ideal. In fact, if I went back to my initial app and looked at the fiddler trace that represents this unoptimized version, I'm going to refresh here. You can see the number of calls that are made in that initial load. So clearly there's something not ideal here. Why did we need to do all of those API calls? And really what I only needed is just the session information. So again, that's maybe the first thing to do as you're trying to optimize the app is just look really clear, like look at every single call that are being made. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. Zoom in here. You can see here that this is calling the request URL. This is calling the SQL database. It's getting all of the items from the FAQ table, which we haven't seen so far. So that's something to keep in mind. Why are we loading that table? And again, we don't have it in. Yeah, sorry.
Is it possible to dim the lights a little bit on the screen just to?
Excuse me. Can you dim the light for the theater? Yeah. Sorry. All right, well, that's happening. This is just, again, our Fiddler, which is a networking tool that many of you might be familiar with it. If not, in the roadmap with PowerApps, we have a set of diagnostic tools that may be too much, that should a set of diagnostic tools that allow you to actually look at the traces within PowerApps. That's very useful, again, to look at every single API call that are being made from your app. All right. So again, moving on to our optimization here. So we tackled this. We tackled the concurrent call. We moved things around. We avoided duplicate calls to an API by refactoring it. It's within this if statement, so this user will exist the first time after the first time. So all of these calls are not going to happen anyway after the first time the user launches the app. So I'm feeling pretty good about this intro. We're going to come back and do some additional optimizations. But for now, I want to move on to other topics. Yeah.
So in the setting the variable, you're also able to do the patch, and the variable will get the same information that gets patched into the data source?
Yeah. So because I set all of that data locally here, that's exact same information that's going to be in here.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
When you're setting the current user,
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing that as being a separate step where I'd have to put all the same record information in and then do a patch additionally. I can just put the patch inside of the set variable.
He's talking about the second set, the set current user.
Yeah, the next line down.
Yes, you could. You could do that, yes. Because the patch response, repatch command will give you back an object that is the object you want to set into that variable.
That's awesome.
Okay, so moving on to another topic. So one of the things that you will probably, I'm going to refresh my unoptimized version. I want to make sure I don't get it wrong. I'm going to actually also stop this guy. The other topic that might be of interest is really any assets that you have in your app. So we want to kind of make sure that when we go to the activity feed here, for example, we don't have this situation where it takes a while for the images to load. So if we can do something about it, that's great. Here, when reviewing the app, I noticed that the photos were PNGs that were not quite compressed. Like this one, for example, has 2.5 meg. So you have an opportunity to kind of, it's something to keep in mind if you want your asset to load pretty quick, compressing it to JPEG and trying to reduce a bit increase the compression will help a little bit without compromising the quality, obviously. So I did that here, and I stuck that to a different parameter. So I'm going to go to my activity feed, which is what will be the focus right now. And I have a different column here that obtains the optimized image URL. And the idea here is actually, I don't have all of the image optimized yet, but the idea here is that you could run on the background jobs or flows that will actually go and compress your images in case your users are uploading high resolution images. The other thing with this is if you are using the camera right now, the phone camera, we did ship a new feature that automatically compresses the quality of the image that you are loading. So if you are loading an image from an iPhone, it's usually a pretty high number of megs. So that's something to keep in mind. If you don't have the luxury actually to compress your images, maybe their sources are coming from different the images are coming from different sources that you don't have control over, and you want to still kind of do a little bit of optimization. There is something you could do, which is put in place a gallery which will be bound maybe to the same activity feed. In fact, the activity feed right now is tied to the actual collection, so to the actual data source. So I don't really like that. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and actually load it here. Yeah. Yes, delegation is always a concern. So the first questions you want to ask yourself is, do you have a chance that the data you're fetching from your sources are going to be more than 2,000 items? And in that case, this whole technique of clear collecting, it does not apply. And the question then you have to ask for your users, for your customers or your clients or yourself, is whether do I really need to show 2,000 items or more? Is there really a value for a user to scroll over 2,000 items to find their item? So is there any filtering things that we could do to bring down that number of items, which will have an impact on the user experience? It will be probably a better user experience if you help reduce the data set. So, but there are situations where you are dealing with a large number of items, and the techniques I'm showing here are not going to be applicable. So I'm just going to get the activity feed going, and then does that answer your question? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually go back to my activity to that gallery that I just put in place in here. I'm actually going to use the activity feed. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm going to actually insert an image control here. I'm going to bind it to this image, and let's say I have to bind it to my uncompressed source. The net effect of this, and let me navigate away from the screen so I can trigger the invisible. The net effect here is that I'm going to trigger that image URL call even before we get to the next page. Of course, I don't want to show this, so this whole image can be set to transparent. The gallery control can actually go to invisible to maybe. Actually, I'm going to leave it in the screen so that it actually loads up. But I really don't need. I really don't need it to be actually it doesn't have to be visible, obviously. But anyway, so I'm going to call this a preloading gallery. And the idea here is that I'm going to bring this down, reorder back. And the idea here is that when that first load happens, again, the user will see that preloader animation. As soon as this update is false, they can start interacting with the app. What we do in terms of loading other sources, like the activity feed, whatever, it's not going to be impacting the user. They can interact with the app, they can get going right away, including this image gallery that I'm actually preloading in a way. And the fact that I have an image control tied to that photo gallery will force that image should be loaded and cached, like any web browser would cache assets like images and things like that. So that's one thing you could do in case you can't compress the images. It's just before you even get to that screen, you go ahead and actually load those particular images so that you don't have that flicker when you get here. Again, this is just in the hope of improving that user experience around how snappy is the UI. I don't want to go to a certain page and have my data loading partially and taking a while to load. So anything that you could do to preload the data is great. So the other thing I'm going to do here is that since I actually put this in a collection, I'm going to actually go and go ahead.
Do collections persist across sessions? So if I go from the web to my mobile,
collections are just in-memory local collection, so they're not going to persist. I mean, they're going to have to be in a network somewhere, because like when you go to the mobile, you have to download it. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to ignore that for now. Yeah, so I need to go back and make sure that home activity feed is done. And the next thing I want to talk about is really this notion. I'm going to go back to image URL here, since we preloaded those animations. The other thing I want to talk about is this idea of uploading. So I'm going to go back to the unoptimized version. The idea of actually participating in this whole activity feed. One of the things that's usually wrong with this app, as you can see here, is that I'm actually going to try to upload an image. And you can see here that it actually did the patch, did the save on the server, then actually loaded into the gallery. So we want to kind of optimize that so that we have that effect that when you are typing something and entering it, it actually feels that it's instantaneous. So again, if we look at the code that is here, we can clearly see that the first thing they are doing is actually doing a blob storage upload of the image, and then they are creating the patch, they're adding a row to the activity feed in the database. Once that's done, then the gallery control will refresh, which is, again, depending on the network. If you're here, it was actually pretty slow, but if you're on a mobile in a 3G kind of environment, you're going to be posting something, you're going to wait a few seconds before your gallery refreshes. So that's not ideal. So what we want to do is more is really try to refresh the collection locally, and then also go ahead and refresh the backend at the second step. I'm going to actually copy paste here so I can speed up the process here. So, but the idea here is that I'm gonna try to patch my activity feed collection, which is my local collection. Users will see the difference right away. They will see that data being shown in the gallery, and then I'm gonna hope for the best and then load it I'm gonna then try to save it in the back end. So in many situations you could do this optimistic saving, which basically let the user know in this first call that everything is fine, your gallery control updated, but then in the background I'm going to be saving and hoping that it's going to work. In 99% of the cases it's working, it's going to work, but then you always have the ability to do some sort of error handling, which is out of the scope of the topic, but you could always let the user know, update the UI, save into the database, with the hope that everything will go well, and if it doesn't, you could actually act on that. But the net effect, if you do that, is that if you go ahead now and take an image and maybe enter a comment here, you should see that right away appearing, rather than waiting for the call to be made, and then refreshing the database, refreshing the gallery. So that's good. The other thing to finalize basically the talk about images.
Before we move on, I have one quick question.
Yeah.
So you're creating a collection. When you're uploading new data to the database, are you having to refresh the collection, or is it doing that automatically?
No, so that's so if I go back to my activity feed, I'm actually refreshing. I'm adding a little bit of work to me here. I'm refreshing the local collection, and I'm also refreshing the database.
Sorry. So if you weren't doing that first patch, I noticed before it did refresh.
Yeah, because it wasn't. So the way it was hooked up before, I had the gallery hooked to to my data source right away. So this is what it used to be.
I thought at some point there was a collection there.
No, so that's first thing. The collection was there, the data source was there, so I removed that, so it wouldn't have refreshed if I did that.
Okay.
So there's two steps to that. Yeah.
It's looking for when people are trying to use the same app and trying to upload it out.
Sorry?
People are trying to upload two different pictures.
Yeah.
They would have two different views of the same
Yeah.
UI
Yeah.
because you are persisting data on the device.
True. Where persisting. So it's true. There's many things you could do. First, you could not care because it's a view. Once they move away from this page to the home screen, come back, it's going to refresh. You could refresh right away the collection on the back, just as a last step, and that will be transparent to the user. You could do a timer that refreshes every X amount of time. So it depends on the requirement there. But you're right. And in many situations, in any feed like app, there is no expectation necessarily to have a synchronized view over those over your feed. So, but again, it depends on the situation. You have opportunities to refresh your master data source for sure. Sorry?
Like you're doing with the set function, you can put that around the patch taking. Could you do something similar with collect?
Yes, you could. But I could have collected into my local collection for sure. Yes. But yeah, that's a very good point. So here, the question here is that I could have done instead of actually, no. The problem with that, if I had done a clear collect on my collection and then on the other side I had a patch, not a clear collect. If I had done a collect and I had added a patch, the patch would have needed to be done before I can actually update my local collection. So I do need this step because I really want to deal with local view, the local data, and then I'll go ahead and then. The only other optimization, which is just maybe a style thing, is I could have put all of my statements here into a local variable. Okay, I'll move on. We still have a few things to do. So I'm going to go back real quick to another thing that someone needs to kind of take into account. I'm still not happy that I'm making 3 calls here. So one thing that that would be great is, again, it's a customer conversation. Our venues are expected to change over time. Is it crucial for the user to get the actual venue list exactly, up to date right away? Can we live with actually static data instead of actually calling the venue? One thing I do here is that I will actually move those clear collect here. Again, after the update context. And now I have an Excel sheet that I exported, which I have here, which basically contains all of the data from all of the sessions, the venues, and even the session type. Actually, this is not the right one, but you get the point. So we exported the data into an Excel sheet which contains venue, session types, and also sessions. The idea is that this is, again, something that doesn't apply to all scenarios. In some situation, you're okay, hard coding in a way some of the content, knowing that it's not going to change. And that will avoid that initial call at that initial delay for at least, and in this case, I'm just going to do the venues and the session type. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my data source and upload that static data sheet that I just showed. And depending on your comfort, maybe sessions is something you want to keep in the last minute changes. You don't want to, you want to give a view, an accurate view. The thing is that for me, personally, I think that, I try to have that conversation early on when I'm talking to the customer, whether, what is expected data, how it's going to grow over time, what is crucial to have right away, and all that stuff. So in this case, what I did is I'm going to take that static data that I just brought, static session, this is static venues, and I'm going to go ahead and change this static. Unlikely that the session types will change. Worst case, they're going to be not up to date at the start. Again, when we embed a static sheet, it becomes part of the app. It's actually the content will be downloaded as part of that initial load. So you don't have that network call later on. So again, I'm doing that from a static sheet, and then I'm going, as soon as the loader is hidden, I'm going to go ahead and actually reload them fresh from the database. The customer, the user here is not going to see that additional, it's going to be transparent to the user. So again, I went down from, I don't know how many calls to really just the session that I want to maybe update right away. Again, here, it depends on the situation. I could have gone with the static data that I have in my spreadsheet and then update the session values, or I could just live with that one particular call. Okay. Any questions before I move on to the next thing?
So anytime you come to this screen and it's on visible, these runs happen every time you navigate to another screen and then come back to that?
Yeah, good question. So usually there is an additional. So again, it depends on what your goals are. Sometimes it's kind of a nice thing to come back and refresh the data. Sometimes you don't want that additional loader, to show up. So you could actually check whether your collections are empty before you actually make the call. And if they are not empty, don't show the loader, for example. So that will be a very simple additional statement here, which will be is empty, and then you could take your sessions, for example. So the loader will not show up. You will still go that additional call, which doesn't bother anyone because, again, it's just going to refresh the gallery transparently. So there is no artifact to that. So, and you could keep doing that for the remaining collection that you want. Anyway, for now we have only session that actually is the load that goes to the load. Okay. So the condition will be false here if the collection here is not empty, which results on this the whole thing not reloading. Does that make sense? Okay.
Or you could load in anything new and then merge it in, so you're not inputting the whole list.
Yeah, that would be fine if you are up to the additional work there. Yeah. Okay. So the last few things I want to talk about are related to maybe these detail view screens. I noticed when we were going from one page to the other, that this speaker, and let me go to and clear my cache here, just to kind of put that in perspective.
What is that added called?
Sorry?
What's your added call that clears your cache?
Sorry.
The added call that clears your cache?
Oh, it's clear cache extension. Thank you. You notice here that the speakers are taking a little bit of a time to load. So again, I don't believe they are making use of the actual collections that are needed here. So you have also some issues here that will be interesting. But again, you notice here that they're using the filter on the DBO speaker. So this is another opportunity to actually use the speaker collection we loaded. We also, to avoid also this, we could also use the conference user here. So I'm just going to fix that real quick. Save that. And then the last few items I have in mind here is this notion of delayed load flag that you will see probably turned on by default in most of your apps or new apps. So delayed load is really about making sure that you don't load all of the screens when you load the app. So it's really important to kind of turn that on. But there are conditions for this for this delayed load to work, and that is that the screens should not have dependencies between themselves within the screens. If there is any dependency between screen A and B or C at load time, the framework will actually load all of the screens. So you really want to avoid any dependencies between screens so that when you load the app, only the first screen is loaded. You noticed earlier when I did the fiddler trace, the FAQ table was loading. I saw that FAQ in one of the calls, and that's why is that loaded there. So the reason is because PowerApps loaded all of the pages. It found out that the gallery had a straight relationship. The activity feed was being called directly to the data source. We were not clear collecting that into a local collection. So, and to illustrate again, the point here is that I have my style. This is a pattern that maybe should be avoided, which is like, just to illustrate the point, but there's many ways you can get yourself into these enter-screen dependencies. But this is one example where you have maybe a default style defined in one screen. I have a button here which has the right color, the right font, maybe labels. And I can go back here to the front screen here under the fill color. And you can see that there is a straight dependency between the default button style, which exists in my last screen, style screen, which will force, again, that screen to be loaded. So you don't wanna go into patterns of defining your styles into controls or even using any label or text input as a way to store variables. So in this particular case, what I would have done, given a little bit more time, I would have gone back here to my onStart or anywhere else, and then defined my collection of styles. And I can say maybe my one of my styles will be keyed to default button style, and then I would have done an color, and then here I would have done the RGB color or whatever color I want, and then I would have referenced this button style in my header information here. Again, the goal is to not have that dependency with the last screen. So key, maybe it's default style. Don't remember what I said. Color, and then wrap this color into the color value function that will take that hex value into an actual color. Okay. Let me pick a slightly different color, but you see the point. So that's it with delayed load. So keep in mind that that actually can drastically change as well the first initial load, because if you have 20 screens that are loaded, it's different from just the first screen to be loaded. The other thing is that if you're working with, again, just to go back to some of those flags, you have this explicit column selection. So for data sources like SQL or CDS soon, or actually CDS already, this flag will help reduce the number of columns that are loaded from any of your API calls to SQL if those columns are not being used in your user interface. So if you have an X column that you have no reference to, like the platform will actually understand that that column X is never used in your UI. When you make the API call, that X column will not be downloaded. So that helps reduce that data, the amount of data loaded when you get the data downloaded. So that's one. There is also a couple more. There is the enhanced rendering flag, which is somewhere around here. It's in preview. This one, sorry, before I go to that one, there is the concurrent for function optimization. There is also, maybe this is actually, okay, the improved app rendering, which is another flag. So if you have old apps, you might want to turn them on and see whether there is any issues. There are preview features, so they are close to being in production, but those are usually things that you want to do to improve that rendering. I think it's the entire rendering. I actually don't know the background. Yeah, I can get back to you on those things. I'm not sure. I believe it's the way rendering is managed across all of the components, all of the DOM elements. Say that? Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So actually the answer there is that there is new controls being added that are React. So it's a different technology, better performance. So if you turn on the flag, we would use those controls rather than the old ones. So. Yeah, so actually it's a good point. So my next point was views. So if you are in SQL, Word, or CDS Word, views will be supported in SQL and CDS pretty soon. But in the SQL Word, views are definitely the next step. They will help you a lot reduce the number of columns. You could make mash up data and then really send what needed. So that's the next level of optimization. That was the last point I have here. It's just indexing as well. So if you're SharePoint SQL, you could look into making sure your indexes are in the data. So that's a whole job, maybe not necessarily related to PowerApps. But like optimizing your backend, where is your SQL hosted? Are you in premium, hosting? Those are all things that can affect the performance. So that's definitely a good point. Any questions? Actually, I want to just run this app. And if you guys have any questions, anything, please feel free. You can go ahead and turn on the light if you. Thank you.
Do you happen to know off the top of your head which flow actions do that compression between these?
No, that is something you would have to build yourself. There's many ways to do that. The best way, if you have control of your assets, is just use other automation tools to kind of go through that process. But the good news is that if you are using the camera right now, the camera control, you will have access. It will do that job of compressing on the mobile device. It will compress it for you. there's a flag actually that you will have to, that is turned on by default, that you will see in the client if you press the kind of the hamburger menu. Yes. Okay, cool.
So why is that instead of using the thumbnails or selected photos, rather than using the thumbnails?
You could use thumbnails. It's just like whether you're happy with that size is the question. Yeah, the main point there is that assets also, like if they are heavy, you know, they will drag a bit the experience. Cool. Any other questions? No, not. They are not shareable by a component. Right now, when you go to your app, the components are going to be within. So it's going to enumerate everywhere there is a component in your tenant. So I'm just going to show that. So any app that contains. This is going to change again. We'll have a better story, but right now, at least, you can get your components from any app that contains it. Here, I created an app that has all of my components, so it becomes a matter of going between environments. So.
You can import them and export them in between
Yeah,
environments.
yeah, definitely. We could export that main app, or you could just do it individually. Component as part of the solution. Not right now. They are going to be, the app can be part of your solution. The app that contains the component will be part of your solution.
I guess on you showed caching for adding images and not really the update command, which would have been inside of an existing item. Do you suggest using cache and coding that part rather than the update and context test?
So update, as far as I know, is not. So this patch was to create a new record.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the form, the update on the form control. Is there a benefit of using the update there rather than the patch, or?
Not that I'm aware of. I usually use the patches as my preference. No.
I'm thinking you do the update and on the form control, and there's still that it takes there's a delay in the load of the item list.
Okay.
Form.
Oh, with the patch, you're saying the update does.
When I do the update, I still see that delayed load when I go back to the form list.
I'm not sure. I mean, usually I use patch. I'm not using it, but I don't see that artifact of, it seems, yeah. Maybe I'll talk to you offline. Maybe I need to understand more. Yeah.
So have you seen the experience where users swipe up on a gallery and the records go blank as they swipe up?
Yeah. I love that experience. It's by design. No, this is a performance gap we have that the team is actually fixing right now. So it's going to take a few more months. But I think clear collecting your data is useful because part of why you see the blank is also because data is loading. But also mostly is really we have a performance issue there. So, but there is a little component to that because like when you straight connect your gallery to a data source, it only loads the first 100 items. You can clearly see that in the traces. And as you scroll, it will reload the next batch. I personally don't like that because again, you are in a situation where you might be scrolling and the data is not there yet. So that's not an ideal situation. Yeah.
Yeah. What techniques do you use for data sets that are larger than the 2,000 records?
Yeah. So you could still do a load experience. A loading experience. The only way you would do that is by the preloader condition not being this way. Because if you connect, say, we are connecting my gallery straight to my again my DBO, which is the case here. We didn't change it. If you connect it straight, you don't have an opportunity to know when it's loaded entirely because it's not in a clear collect. So one way you could do this is by going to the preloader and do the is empty here on the on the conference gallery. It's not a great solution in my opinion, but this will be empty by default. Sorry, the collection will be true. It will not have any items, so when it's loading, so this whole is loading condition will be to true. As soon as there is data there, this become false, and then you can hide that loader. So that's one way to deal with, at least giving the experience to the user that data is being loaded. Here's the kind of we're loading it. Hold on, all of that kind of But I think that really the important thing is being aware of those things gives you a better chance to influence the design early on. Like that's where you know all of these issues are going to come up. Can really, like for example, a very simple case. Let's say we had, and this is where I left this my session. It's a very simple case where flipping this around. Let's say we have 10,000 sessions. And the customer requirements is that I want all of them and be able to filter it. So a simple negotiation of defaulting to my sessions could make a big difference for that user experience, because my session is likely to be less than 2,000 items. So if I open the app and I'm defaulted to my sessions, that's what's going to see. By the time the users actually click on all sessions, we had a little bit more time to load that data.
That seems to work only on data sources that support delegation, right?
Delegation is a node, like again, the requirement for me is just whether I need to show more or less than 2,000 items. Whether the data is filterable, whether we support certain filters to get to that 2,000 items is another topic. Okay. Thank you. I hope that was useful. Thank you.